Hey everyone, welcome back to Sunday's podcast. This is our second episode, followed by our Asia Cup roundup, which was our first episode. This episode is mainly going to talk about India's World Cup squad for the Cricket World Cup 2023, which is about to be held in India from October. And our next focus will be Asia Cup Super 4, where Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India are the four teams who have qualified for the Asia Cup Super 4. They're gonna play each other once, uh, and the top two teams will play the final on the 17th of September. This is your host Abhi, joined by my co-host Dev. Dev, what are your thoughts on India's World Cup squad?
Yeah, Abhi, I think it's a good squad, and I don't think there's anything surprising. It's exactly 15 out of 17 people who already are selected, who were selected for the Asia Cup. So unfortunately, both Tilak Verma and Prashid Krishna had to make way. So the final 15 looks solid, and as of now, I think as we are recording today on Sunday, unfortunately Shreyas Iyer has been injured. I believe we have a good 15. Personally, I would, if I had to guess, I see Akshar Patel, Ishan Kishan, and Surya Kumar Yadav are three people who probably will not make the first 11. From the remaining 12, probably Shami or Siraj will miss out, I guess, because that's the combination that they like, and probably they will stick with the same combination unless until there's some injuries scared. Luckily, since the World Cup is happening in India, probably we are on a safer side because if at all there was an injury, we can easily find a replacement. What do you think, Abhi?
So, yes, you're right. There are no real surprises with the squad. I think even when they announced the Asia Cup squad, they had the World Cup in mind. So we kind of knew what to expect with the World Cup squad because we were pretty confident that it's going to be 15 from the 17 they announced for the Asia Cup. And that's exactly what the BCCI have gone ahead and done. They've announced 15 members from the 17-member Asia Cup squad. And like you said, the three people that you mentioned are probably the ones that are going to miss out. And I personally think that they would go with Mohammad Siraj over Shami, uh, purely because of the form he is in right now. Siraj is the only Indian bowler in the ODI top 10 rankings. He's placed 8th in the rankings right now, and he's shown the ability to bowl well with the new ball and in the middle and death overs as well. So purely on the basis of form, they would go with Siraj, and in a needs basis, they might bring in Shami for a game or two. Uh, the one other thing I think we've talked about Shardul Thakur a lot in the previous podcast, and I think he will make the 11 just because of his usefulness with the batting and also his partnership breaking abilities. We've talked about how useful he is while breaking crucial partnerships, and he's displayed that time and again. And he could bat and get us few runs as well. But the only thing I'm concerned about is his economy in India. He's played about 15 ODI games in India, and his economy is about 6.24. So that's something he needs to work on. But right now, his economy is not damaging us a lot because of his ability to pick up crucial wickets. But if he could stop conceding like more than 6 runs and over and pick up a wicket or two, it'll be really great for us.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at Shardul Thakur, we are probably going to use him as a partnership breaker. So I'm not seeing him bowling 10 overs. So I think economy we could maybe let the economy slide, at least for that reason. If he could give us the breakthrough whenever there is a long partnership going on, that would be good, and that could also reduce load on Hardik Pandya, as you mentioned in the last episode.
Yes, you're right. I think Shardul Thakur and Hardik Pandya will team up to be our fifth bowler. If you get 10 overs total from the both of them combined, that will be a good bonus for us, especially considering the fact that we have to preserve Hardik Pandya's fitness and he couldn't. Bowling 10 overs of Hardik might be too straining for him. So if Shardul and Hardik could combine to bowl 10 overs and give us, a couple of wickets or more, it will be a great bonus for us. And we all know how Hardik Pandya's batting has evolved. And if he could perform the same way he's been performing in batting, and if Shardul can chip in with quick runs, the very crucial all-rounder spot for our team will be covered. That base will be covered, and that will be a really strong point for us going forward in the tournament. Um, we all know the form that the mainstream bowlers, the four mainstream bowlers, are showing right now, and Hardik and Shardul could act as a good supplement to the form that the mainstream bowlers have been showing.
True. So, about the another point that you mentioned, Siraj versus Sami, I think, as you predicted, probably Siraj would get the first go, but I have a feeling that it's going to be very similar to what happened between Suresh Raina and Rishabh Pathan in the 2011 World Cup. Probably he will get a run through the league games and see how he goes. If not, he would soon be replaced with Shami, given his experience and uh, his ability with the new ball. Especially in the recent times, he's been exceptional with the new ball for the in the limited over as well.
We've talked enough about the bowling. Let's talk a little bit about the batting side of things as well. Like I said, there are no real surprises in the batting side of things, and I believe that both Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul will be our middle order. Uh, hoping that both of them stay fit. They've had injury troubles in the past. Shreyas Iyer, like you said, is injured as we speak. But if they are fit, that will be a really strong batting lineup up until 6 or 7, because both Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul's record in India is impeccable. Shreyas Iyer has an average of around 51, strike rate of 98 in India, and KL Rahul's records are not less. Like, he has an average of 49 at a strike rate of about 90. So both of them in the middle order could prove really useful for us. If they play their natural game, both of their natural game in the middle order is kind of attacking. So they could score quick runs at the same time, form big partnerships. If one of the top order stays with either Shreyas Iyer or KL Rahul, we could be looking at really monstrous totals. I'm really hoping both of them stay fit so we do not run into the situation of having to bring one of our bench players in.
If at all we had to bring in the bench players, I think our options are Ishan Kishan would be the first option because of what he had done in the last week or so. Maybe the second option would be Surya Kumar Yadav.
Definitely, Ishan Kishan would be our first choice because Surya Kumar Yadav's statistics and performance in one-day internationals has not been as impressive as his performance in 2020 cricket. He just has an average of about 19 over 10 games in India. So Ishan Kishan's average and strike rate is far a little higher than what Surya Kumar Yadav has. So he will be our first choice, not just because of the statistics, because of the form he is in right now, because of the good knocks he has played against Pakistan.
Yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, he has 4 consecutive 50s in ODI in the last 4 games. But yeah, to wrap up this, I think, as you mentioned, the main reason Surya Kumar Yadav is in the squad is because of what he had done in T20 cricket, and we all know his ability. So that's the main and only reason he's there. It's not because of any of his OD statistics, because as you said, he doesn't have much.
The other reason why I think Surya Kumar Yadav has been included is because of his ability to score really quickly. I know there has been, the complaint about quote unquote intent from our middle order, where we feel that they're not scoring as quickly as they should be in overs 25 to 40, and then they just try to accelerate only post 40 overs. Surya Kumar Yadav is the kind of player who can accelerate from ball one. He's gonna go for his shots. He's going to try and pick up those boundaries right from ball one. He's not going to come into the crease and, take time to get settled and all that. So maybe because of that, and if he gets going, he can be really dangerous. He can score 60, 70 runs in real quick times for 30, 40 balls, and that will be really beneficial for us at number 5 or number 6. So that's probably why he's been included in the squad. Because of his ability to score really quickly. We've seen teams like England and New Zealand have players like Daryl Mitchell and Harry Brook who could score really quickly. And that's why they're getting totals in excess of 300 almost every time they bat in an ODI. It's because of those dangerous players who could score at a strike rate of 130 or 140 even in one-day international cricket. So Surya Kumar Yadav is that kind of a player. I know he hasn't clicked as well as we would want to, but once he clicks, he can be a really dangerous player.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Alright, so let's move on. Let's go into the next section. I think today it's going to be, as you mentioned, just 2 sections. The second one is Super Force Asia Cup. So far we have had 2 full games, and we are in the process of the third game, which because of rain it's been postponed to tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll probably continue from over 24. That's where we stopped. So let's just briefly talk about the first 2 games. Maybe Abhi, you can talk about the first game.
Right. The first game was was Pakistan versus Bangladesh. Pakistan won the game pretty comfortably. It was kind of a one-sided game, if you're being fair. But as usual for Bangladesh, the 2 pillars of their batting lineup, Shakib and Mushfiqur Rahim, scored very impressive 50s. But the only problem they had is they did not have support from any other player. No other player even crossed 25 apart from Shakib and Mushfiqur. Liton Das, a lot was expected of him, but he has not he's kind of failed in both the Super 4 games. But he started off really quickly, scored a few boundaries, but then fell to Shaheen Afridi eventually. It was a good start. Bangladesh would have liked him to carry on for a little bit, but it wasn't his day that time. But a really solid partnership between Shakib and Mushfiqur, and the lower order tried as well. Shamim Hussain and Natif Hussain tried, but they couldn't get the total past 200. And once you are in the sub 200 region, it's going to be for the strength of Pakistan's batting lineup. It's going to be pretty easy for them. And it turned out exactly as expected. They kind of cruised to a victory. They probably didn't have to get out of third gear, at least. That's what I felt. Both Imamullah and Mohammad Rizwan just cruised along. They didn't have to take any risk. They just had to play their natural game and put away the bad balls and picked up useful 50s for them. Kind of expected Babar Azam to score as well, but they didn't really need, even if he didn't score, they didn't really face any trouble. They won comfortably by 7 wickets in the end, and they're looking like a really dangerous side going into the later stages of the Super 4 and also going into the World Cup.
Yes, and speaking of Bangladesh, they unfortunately also lost their second game against Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka batted first. Actually, in this game, 2 players played exceedingly well. Both of them played like they were playing on a different surface, and unfortunately, neither of them were able to get their centuries. I think I would probably pick Hridoy's innings a bit better than Samar Vikrama because of the pressure he was in, because when he got to bat, Bangladesh was almost out of the game. And from there, he built the partnership and he held one end. Maybe he took way too many balls to get settled down. By doing so, he put pressure back on himself later when he had to accelerate. Unfortunately, he lost his wicket. But overall, it was an excellent innings, and I had to give credit to him for trying. And unfortunately, the two pillars that you mentioned have failed together in this game. If one of them had stayed, they might have easily won this game. If I had to guess. And Sri Lanka, I think we talk a lot about Pakistan, but Sri Lanka in the last few months they are playing in a different league. Considering how they were struggling since Sangakkara, Mahayala, Jayawardena, and Malinga, now they're looking back like, okay, they are. I would not say they're back at their best, but they're definitely on their road towards that. So, yeah, I think these are the two games that have officially been completed. The third one is ongoing. This time, for a change, both the openers for India scored significantly higher runs than last game. Abhi, why don't you talk about that?
Yes, definitely. I would not. I wouldn't want to talk a lot about the game because it's not completed so far. But just impressing upon the opening partnership, the phenomenal opening partnership that we've had. Both Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill got 50s, and not just 50s but 50s in really quick time. Both of them had a strike rate in excess of 110. So that puts us in a really good space right now. We're about 147 in 24.1 overs. Both Virat Kohli and KL Rahul are taking their time, but we all know how dangerous they can be once they get set. And the platform laid out by the openers has given them the breathing space to take their time, get settled, and try and accelerate in the end. The only concern that I have is the game has gone into the reserve day. We're gonna play almost a full game tomorrow, and then we have one more big game against Sri Lanka day after tomorrow. So the rain has played a real spoil sport in India's plans for the Asia Cup. I really hope the players stay fit for back-to-back games, and not just any back-to-back game, but high-pressure back-to-back games against two really good sides. But the other good thing is the openers seem to have found some form, especially after their partnership against Nepal and now. So playing back to back might, be helpful for us because they are in the zone of scoring runs, and if they can just continue it tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well, we might progress to the finals of the Asia Cup.
Yeah, so I think I need to add a little bit here that yes, our openers have scored runs, but unfortunately, it didn't click for Shakeen Afridi. He did miss his length for most of his overs, and definitely both the batsmen and they scored quick runs and put him under a lot of pressure. But Naseem Shah was excellent. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. Thank you everyone for joining this second episode. I hope you had fun, and we are looking forward to bring you guys the next episode. Probably we'll wrap up the Super 4 of the Asia Cup. Catch you guys in the next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. See you again next week with another episode. Toodles.